Welcome to the Core Dial Contact Center Setup and Configuration demo. This will go over a few of the items of how easy it is to configure and set up and manage the contact center. For example, when you first set up a call center, you care about things like auto attendance and menus, because when people call in, you want to present them with some capabilities to either do self-service capabilities or guide them into the right direction. So for example, you go into the auto attendant menu and you would set up your call setup options, which have the capability to go by schedules, different prompts. You can report on this menu usage. You can have different prompts based on particular phone numbers coming in, holiday messages, out of schedule messages, etc. Then you can speak the main menu, and that might be a day greeting or a night greeting depending on how you want to do it. You can enable different options for out of schedules. And then of course as you go to your menus, like press 1 for sales, press 2 for tech support, and etc. Each of these actions, of course, each of these steps can have an action. You can play a prompt, send a call to a queue, transfer to a station or to an outbound phone number, maybe to a third-party call center. Nested menus, so you can have menus calling menus. And IVR modules, this is very powerful and extensible that allows you to actually execute IVR modules, such as please enter your account number followed by the pound sign, or credit card by payment, or other types of applications that have to do with database integration with a customer's database. So you have all these different actions that you can do on each step. You also have the capability to set up do not disturb messages, which are very easy, so you can control that based on what the agent will see for their pull down. Once you go into the users table, that's where you would actually set up agents. And you would go in and say for this particular person, here's his details, here's his agent ID, password, security, what groups they belong to. So this tells what report groups or user groups they're a part of. Their ACD integration, whether you push contacts to them, what queues they're a part of. Also what administrative screens. You can even go down and say, hey, I want only this menu available for this particular person. And the same with reports. Sometimes you want agents or supervisors to run reports, so you can say only allow this particular report for this particular person. I can also go in and look at what phone applications, like how many line appearances they have, ACD applications, DID numbers, call forwarding, etc. Workforce management, I can assign their locations and their shifts, and what customer groups they belong to. It's also very easy for me to configure schedules. I can do this with a click of a button and highlight or capture different days of the week and times of day. I can do crossover midnight schedules very easily. We have lots of customers that have 24/7 shops, so they have need for overlap of different schedules and shifts. Schedules for holidays are very easy. You can set them up in the beginning of the year and forget about them, so that all of your holiday menus and holiday greetings will come automatically for the callers without you having to worry about it. You can also define what phone numbers are assigned to different applications. So you can have unlimited number of phone numbers in the database, and those can point to specific applications, such as maybe you want a specific intro message for a phone number, or a specific holiday or out of schedule, or maybe you want it to go to a survey on a particular number. So each inbound dialed number can have a specific application assigned to it. Pre-recorded prompts are very easy. Those are stored in the database. So it's you can actually have those all set up ready to go and upload those from your desktop if you have recording software, or you can dial your phone and record it directly from your desktop phone or your soft phone. So it's very easy to keep track, and you can also put the text in here and send it out to a professional recording group as well by script ID. And then these become available as drop-down boxes for your IVR, call flow, and auto attendant applications. Very simple to configure from that perspective. One of the most powerful configuration capabilities is our desktop designer. We have the concept of widgets in our system. What a widget is these are applications. Very much like your smartphone has apps that you can download and do certain functions. These are extensible widgets that would show up on an agent desktop, and it shows a picture and what they do and a description. In the desktop designer, you would actually pick and choose what you want your layout to look like. So if I wanted the layout to look like this and drag and drop different widgets here, I could say this is what I want this particular agent's desktop to look like. I can also save that as a template as well and have multiple templates by group, by department, by person, So this is what example of a template looks like on my demonstration. And let's say I wanted to add the capability to accept inbound live web chat, and I can add that over into this capability. Or maybe I wanted to add my screen pop application, or a calculator, or call recording notes, etc. Very easy to move these around and decide where I want these to be. And that's what will show up on the agent desktop, which is a demonstration of the regular agent desktop, but these are those widgets and how that layout occurs. And these are the business apps that show up based on that decision that I've made on the desktop designer. So without coding or without calling an engineer or anything, you have the capability to roll out specific screen apps and layouts to your agent groups in the contact center. Very powerful. Also in configuration, it's very easy to create teams and queues. Now this is a traditional way where you'd actually say a queue name and set that up. And here's where you would put in, okay, I want wrap up time for this queue to be this number. Here's my service level. I want calls answered with this specific number of seconds. Also, abandon is reported this way. I can enable callbacks on abandons and put those into a campaign, so I can actually have automated callback campaigns set up and ready to go. I can also define actions for a particular queue. So if somebody doesn't get to a human and they have to wait in a queue, what do I want to do? Maybe I want to play a prompt for 10 seconds and then a different prompt for a different second. So remember, we talked about those prompts. Those are available to me now. And then after, let's say 40 seconds, I want to offer a callback in queue, which allows them to enter their phone number and hang up the phone, and this will keep their place in queue, sort of like a virtual hold. And you can do things like play wait time, or you can do specific prompts. You can set it for a particular schedule so that when it's out of schedule, you don't want callback offered. And then you can put minimum and maximums because, again, it's the same as a person holding in queue, so you don't want to pack up a whole bunch of callback people, so you can decide how many you want to allow before it stops offering that. Dispositions in those queues, you can control those, easily add and subtract from your master disposition table. And this is the tally codes and dispositions that you want the agents for reporting and tracking. You can also assign teams to that queue here. There's an easier way to do that in the drag and drop console. You can also have custom settings, like if people from a particular queue are dialing outbound and you want a specific ANI to show up, you can do that, a caller ID. You can have initial greeting and automatic replies. You can also set up color alerts as well for things on the wallboard, and map after call surveys as well. So it's very powerful queue management that you can do here to decide what you want the queue treatment to look like. Also, it's very easy to set up supervisors. This is who can see what and who can manage who. So if I've got a supervisor in here, here's the teams that they belong to. It's very easy for me to add additional people to that team or that supervisor. So it's very easy. Notice I just added another person to that person's group. So point click, and it's easy to add up who's supervising who. You can also have script box admin. This is pretty cool because this allows you to determine what's going to show up on a screen when an inbound screen pop happens. So for example, if somebody calls into the sales queue, I could say this is what I want to show up, and this will show up as this, and you can have different, you can add links and tables. There's basically a full-blown editor here to decide what you want to show up. You can add links and pictures to this inbound screen pop, and this would show up on the agent screen in this script box based on the number of the queue that dialed in. So it's a very custom view for screen pop applications. Really great for business process organizations, BPOs, who manage multiple contact centers. You can also have canned messages for things like your live web chat, and you can have shortcut messages so they can use keyboard shortcuts to get into multimedia conversations. And you can also block phone numbers for do not call for inbound. And you can also do different entry points, such as email and web chat, etc. We also have outbound capabilities as well. So if you want to configure outbound, this is also a configuration option. There's a different demonstration specifically to the dialer and the outbound applications, but this is very easily done through setup through this application. Also, you can set up surveys. If you're doing after-call surveys or just primary surveys inbound, you can do that with a simple survey building tool. You don't have to do any programming. So I've got different types of question types. I can do digits, such as press a digit, or prompts. I can record comments, do yes, no. For example, I can also do branching. If they answer yes, go to this step. If they answer no, go to this step. So I can do branch type logic within the application itself. And I can even do this on the screen. So if I want the agent to actually go through a specific set of pieces, this is how we build scoring tools for call recording, for example. So you can actually score and manage screen surveys, and you can also do it for surveys about particular functions, such as data that you want to collect on each phone call. There's also workforce management configuration, which will be in a workforce management presentation or demo at a different location. And so that's about it for the system setup. It's really easy to get these things set up and running, point numbers to that, and have auto attendance and queues ready to roll. So I hope you enjoyed the demonstration, and that's the configuration application.